All right, back again. It's Saturday this time, so we're gonna jump right in today. I think today the focus is gonna be on these themes. I got a chance to play around a little bit more this weekend and play and verify. Or this week, it is the weekend. This week, I got a chance to play around a little bit more and verify kind of some of the concepts that I have around theming, as well as playing with some of the test-driven development concepts that I kind of hold in a high regard. So realizing like how Dart does things, how it's similar to Java and JavaScript and other concepts. Like there are certain mocking libraries that I believe are based on Java libraries. I'm not a Java person. I have read a couple of the clean architecture books, but I haven't really dug into the way that they do it. I've more like been in the domain driven design camp for the majority of the time that I've been working on things over the past 5 to 8 years. So I'm kind of coming into understanding how these patterns work. So today, what I'm going to focus on is I'm going to take the application theme. I'm going to put a light theme and a dark theme together, although I'll probably only like actually build out one because I think the design only has a light theme. So I'm going to take the light theme, or I'm going to take the theme, and I'm going to set it up so that when I actually get a chance to put together a dark theme, I can make the dark theme the main point. We may even try and just take a dark gray and use that as the where the white is for the dark theme for now, and just kind of play it that way to see if it works. But we're gonna try and do this from a test driven perspective. So I'm gonna kind of start in the middle, go to the bottom, and then come back up to the top in terms of layers. So from like an MVU perspective, we're gonna kind of do the model, the update, and then deal with the view from that perspective. So I think we're going to just kind of jump in. I am going to be copying and pasting. I'll just go ahead and tell you I'm going to be copying and pasting some code from another project that I was playing with earlier this week, trying to understand how some of this works. I'll also point out that some of this code is not actually my own. I have been scouring the internets trying to find people that do things in a similar way that I do it, that have an approach, and then I kind of look at their approach, and if they have code that I can pilfer, I pilfer the code. If they don't have code that I can pilfer, I look at their approach and try and understand it. But today there's going to be some straight up copy pasting going on that is in another solution that I've been working on throughout the week. So let's jump in, and the first thing that I'm going to have to do, I have features, and hold on, let me make sure that, let me cut a branch. Let's do git check dash b. Let's call it feature theme. Now my H key is my H key and my B key seem to stick, which means there's probably something stuck underneath the both of them because they're actually close together. So maybe I'll clean my keyboard this weekend. Probably not. Anyway, so I got a new branch to start working with. So I'm going to pull in some files. I've got this lib folder, so I'm going to create a new directory. I'm going to create that as core. I'm going to, inside core, I'm going to create a Dart file, and I'm going to call this device size. And I'm going to create a class called, or, I could just come over here. Yeah, I'm going to create a class called device size. And then I'm going to copy and paste all this jazz in. Oh, I don't know. That's actually going to cause a problem, isn't it? Oh, yeah, I can't call this device size because it has a device size. So, let's call it device constrainer because we like to come up with fancy words for things. Spelling is difficult. It's probably going to tell me I still haven't misspelled. Yep, I have a typo. Constrainer. Constrainer. Constrain. Okay, let's just do type device constraints. That way I don't have to worry about thinking that I have a typo the whole time I'm playing with this thing, right? device constraints, and I want to some of this I want to type out because I actually need practice playing with Flutter syntax and understanding how it works. So some of it you just got to deal with. All of this I should be able to just import, right? Or is there? Oh yeah, no. This is something. Oh yeah, this is something. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I really am this good. I really am this good. Okay, yeah. All right, so we are just going to, let's call this device. So this is like, you ever have a recipe for something that you cooked and you've done it a couple times, but you don't like you wrote the one thing down wrong and you can't remember whether or not that's supposed to be a 3 or a 5. That's kind of where I'm at right now. So that's exactly why I'm doing this, is so I can get some practice in just kind of playing with Flutter and understanding what it is that I'm doing. Because I've been programming primarily in C# for so long, it all feels different. It all feels different. So every time I touch something, it just feels like I don't really know what I'm doing. So I'm trying to get myself past the feeling of not knowing what I'm doing by just practicing and doing some. Yep. See, this is the rabbit hole of stuff that I have to now go do. Let's go grab these extensions. Yep, these are extension methods. I'm going to take all of these extension methods all at once because I'm going to end up needing all of them. We're going to create an extensions in the core. Yep, core. Oh, did I not create a device folder? Man, I am doing the jazz. Device. Let's grab these things and put them in there because I like things to be organized. Which is funny because I'm not extremely organized in everything I do, but code has to be organized because otherwise brain functions start diminishing. And you use too much cognitive load on things that don't actually matter and can't focus on the problems. And that is a real thing. I didn't used to think that was real, but now I realize it's a very real thing. So let's paste in all those. That means we should be able to bring in the class device size. That works. Now we're just going to eliminate some red squiggly stuff. Now we should be able to import that. Yep, that red squiggly stuff goes away. And all this code does is constrain it basically is going to constrain the app so that the app stays within the device constraints of the design, meaning that it's, oh wait, where is it? Device size, here we go. That the max width of a screen is going to be considered 375, and the max height is going to be 812, but it puts it in one place so we can come back in here. So if I need to size it for a bigger phone later, I can deal with it here. At least I think that's how it's going to work. I can't confirm that yet, but when I can confirm it, I will. All right. I am just so good. Device constraints. There we go. We are doing the magic. Create method screen size. Let's go find it. Did I not grab everything in that? Oh, because it's in device size. Device size. There we go. That device type. There we go. Okay, so we've got some of the widget jazz figured out. Builds a widget whenever the orientation changes. Yep. Okay. So we've got stuff. It's going to tell me that I don't have the right. Wants me to remove the type annotation. Why? No, I don't like that. I like to look at my types. I like types. Remove this expression so we don't need it. That's all greens. All right, so let's go look at the Dart analysis, and we have an override method somewhere and unused Dart import. So remove the unused import. Yeah. And the method doesn't override an inherited. Yes, it does. It's a. Oh, does this thing needs to extend widget then? Widget. No. Okay, let me go figure this out. Oh, yeah, it does. It extends the stateless widget. How about that? There we go. Oop. That button. That's what that button does. It's const add the key constructor. Yes, because now it needs it. So everything's good now. Okay. So yeah, I didn't bring that code over correctly. All right. So that's good enough. So I've got all of that stuff. So this is all just extension methods for maths. Nothing too jazzy. This is the device size. It's going to give me the constraints and some other things, widths, heights. This is the actual constrainer, but we're just going to call it constraints because it makes it easier. And then I think we end up putting this in the application root, if I'm not mistaken, so that everything can get access to it. So here, I believe when I build my thing, okay, I need to bring some dependencies in. So let me actually just go do that real quick because I know what I'm going to need now. In order to do the rest of all of this, I'm going to need to bring in, there's a library that I found called Darts, which basically gives functional programming style return either return, so either left or right. So that gives us the ability to instead of so how do I explain this? In the way traditional programming is done, we either return null, which is bad practice, or we throw an exception when something happens. The way that the functional programming world works, it doesn't deal with the concept of, let's call them platform exceptions. Like in .NET, it doesn't deal with .NET exceptions. You create your own failure, and you kind of create this mesh of failure success options. So in certain layers, we will catch exceptions and issue failures, and you'll either get the result you want or a failure. So that's what the return type is, and that's what that Darts lets us do. There's another one, C# language extensions that I've used in C#. That's absolutely fantastic. We're going to need to bring in this equatable bits because we need a easy way to check for object reference equality or object equality. We're going to need to bring in Flutter block. So I'm just going to bring all the dependencies that I know that I'm going to need for this. I think I'm going to need get it. I believe, I don't know if I'm going to probably, I didn't read it. So I know it's worked on by a guy that I looked at when I first joined the Xamarin community called Thomas Burkhardt. He helps maintain this, I believe. And it's based on another library in C# that I understand. So that's actually the biggest thing with Flutter is like I've been looking all week for, oh, well, I got this library that does this in C#. Where's the corresponding library in Dart? Because, yeah, we're going to need this shared preferences bit because that's how we're actually going to save the theme out. And I think, yeah, definitely going to need this. I'm going to need this. This also goes back to the whole functional programming bit. One of the main things in a type, what's the word I'm looking for? In a type, strongly typed language, you would have primitives are generally like the lowest level thing that you can use to describe stuff. So strings, integers, booleans. But they're not very descriptive, right? And when we talk about behavior-driven development, behavior-driven design, and just domain-driven design as concepts, we are constantly trying to define the behaviors of objects. Well, I can't define a behavior for a string, but I can wrap the string in an object and then define a behavior for that object. So that's kind of one of the things. I think that's kind of what tag does. I believe in the JavaScript world, you can use like what's called a type def, which I honestly don't fully understand exactly how it works. But tagged gives us something similar to what I've used in C Sharp when I came across this same realization, realizing that my IDs inside my domain need to be type safe and type specific. So I think those are the things we're going to need from that perspective. And I believe I'm going to need some testing libraries. So I'm going to pull in probably all of these. Yeah, I'm going to probably end up needing all of these. So, and I'm going to end up upgrading one of them. Did that YAML paste correctly? It looks like it built. So let's do, I like to try and force myself to do the command line, even though my IDE is giving me this nice button. I want to do, was it pub-get? No, that's not going to work. I think it's like, I don't know what the, Flutter pub-get. Okay, so it is from the, trying to learn which commands go through Flutter and which ones go through Dart has been the hard bit for me. Because I'm like, yeah, Dart pub-get. And it's like, no, it's not Dart. That one's through Flutter. And it's like, wish there was like a cheat sheet that told me that. Okay, so I brought in a whole bunch of dependencies. So now I think I can go to my main.dart and do the jazz. Yeah, because that's going to end up being broken for a while if I do it that way. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to start with the concept of, I think we have it, this theming bit. Yeah, so we have app theme. So this app theme provides us the ability to do all this interesting jazz under the hood. And it has a basic theme for, I believe this is what the light theme is. This is the theme data. It allows us to be able to build in the theme data based upon what the current theme is. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start doing some jazz here in a minute. Yeah, app theme is going to return primary colors. So we'd have to do some other way of doing that. The color scheme. Oh, I know what I did. I changed all that into a straight map on the application theme. Okay, I know why I did that. All right, so in the themes, I believe we have, or had, oh no, I took it out when I did the original sample because I didn't want to cloud the thing. Okay, so we want to store the theme and get the theme for the current preference. So we're going to need to store some preferences. And I want to kind of do this from a kind of a test, maybe not fully a test-driven perspective, but I want to do it from a testable perspective because I'm trying to understand how to do testing in Flutter. So basically what I realize I'm going to have is I've got a concept of some state that I want to represent. I want to represent the state of the theme of the application as either light or dark, or if you're really fancy and you're like a Slack and you've got multiple themes that you can pick from, you know, I give you a enumeration of things to pick from. So because I don't like binary decisions ever, even though most things always come down to 1 or 0, I don't like it. It bothers me at my core. I'm going to represent the, even though I'm only going to have 2 states at the moment, I'm going to represent them in a non-binary way so that way I can grow this later. So if I have like a dark theme and then like a lighter dark theme, and like, you know, some of them have like a daylight and then like a morning theme, afternoon theme. So it's like 2 different flavors on the light theme. I think I'm going to try and play with that and eventually get it to there. Granted, it's not in the style, so maybe I'll just make it up and it'll look horrible. Don't care. Somebody better than me can come back and fix it if they want to. All right, and I'm going to go back and break a whole bunch of stuff. Anything that's looking for decorators. Okay, nothing is depending upon it right now. That's fantastic. Okay, so I realized earlier this week that I have a tendency to add the file in the way I would in C Sharp and it causes problems because it'll come in here as uppercase. And I actually am starting to prefer the lowercase even in C sharp, like with my folder names. Like, again, when we talk about cognitive load, like there's actually a fair amount of cognitive load for me looking at things that are in Pascal case, especially if it's just one word. So I'm starting, and I work on a Unix platform, so I'm starting to appreciate lowercase folder names and all that fun stuff. So in this new, no, we don't want to just do a new file. We want to open up a whole new thing. So we're actually going to create states, right? And we're going to do it the way they tell you you're supposed to do it. And we're going to do it in the smart way. We're going to create a new, I'm trying to keep my folder structure consistent, even though it doesn't actually fit in this case. I'm going to still try and keep it consistent. And maybe I end up moving certain things. Like maybe I move some of these theme folders into the UI folder here at some point. Don't know. But I want to do it. And we're going to, there's a state management pattern in Dart or Flutter called block, which it's funny because it's kind of like a state machine, and I use state machines a lot in my day job, and I've used them in pretty much every application I've built in the last, let's call it 12 years-ish. State machines, in my opinion, are fantastic. And I've done a lot of MVVM in my lifetime, and I've realized that there's a big flaw with MVVM in that everything is mutating, and you have a lot of mutable states you got to deal with, which is where something like a RX comes into play and is very valuable in that space. But what if we didn't have all the things mutating and everything was immutable, and all you had to do was rebuild certain things when certain states happen, right? So when I transition from state A to state B, I destroy a portion of the state that I had when I was in state A because it's no longer relevant, or I cache it in some backing cache so I can retrieve it later, right? Like imagine that world where we are managing our state in such a way that our applications aren't just littered with private variables and having to constantly play, or private fields, and have to constantly play the Tower of Hanoi game with the current state. So I'm going to create based on that, I'm going to use block. I'm going to create a theme block. Oh, I was supposed to use equatable. I'm smart. I think I'm actually just going to redo that because I don't want to go, I am that lazy. Yes, delete them all. There's an option here. Oh, which you guys can't see. I just realized earlier this week, you guys don't get to see my context menus. So let's do the theme underscore block. No, that was just a file. I am smart. SMRT. Oh, here comes the dog. Yeah, he's going straight to his bed. Theme block. Hopefully that did it right. Yep. All right, so I've got my theme block. So I think the first thing I'm going to do now that I actually have a theme block, because what I learned this week is that I can test a lot of things in Flutter, which is like right up my alley. I think this theme folder is at the root, so we're gonna just go ahead and create a theme folder at the root. We're gonna create a directory called UI, and then another one called, and I found this way of laying out files in my travels around the internet, and I've seen a couple of different ways of doing it. I'm trying to force this because it creates logical buckets in a sense of consistency, and I'm trying to see if I actually like it. So I'm using it because I'm using it in two different projects right now that I'm playing with Flutter. To try and see if I like it or if there's something that doesn't fit right. And then I'm just trying to kind of dog fooding it to a degree. All right, so now I'm going to create my class, and I'm going to create a theme underscore block underscore test. Right? All right, so, I am so smart. I am so smart. SMRT. I did smart stuff earlier, and I'm trying to play with the things. So let's call this theme underscore block underscore test. Sure. Boom. Haha. So I created a file template earlier to give me basically a test setup. Setup. Okay, so in my setup, I'm going to create a block. So I'm going to create my block. It's going to be equal to theme block. Ooh, did I get the... I didn't. Let me. I know I'm going to have to create some mocks here soon, but I think we'll get to that when we get to that. All right. And there's like, for the record, there's no like script here. There's stuff that I want to do, but there's no script because script is boring to me. I'm much more of the Robin Williams, put a table full of stuff in front of me and I'll riff for 20 minutes. It's more organic that way and it feels way more enjoyable to me. So hopefully you enjoy it. So we're going to have an initial state. So we're going to group the set of initial state tests. And what we want is when we load the block, we want the initial state of block should be initial, right? So let's say the application is loading for the first time. The initial state of the block should be in whatever the initial state is, right, for the block. We haven't defined what that is, and this is where we're getting into like the BDD, TDD kind of thing, where I'm legitimately defining the test first. Because I understand state machines, I understand kind of how, and again, block isn't exactly a state machine, but it seems to work in that favor. So I know that when I load the block, there's going to be events that trigger and states that get transitioned to and from. So when I load the block itself, there's going to be an initial state. So I want to say in my test, I just want to, I'm going to actually end up collapsing all of this. I'm going to go straight to the then, and I'm going to say expect that the block.state is equal to the state of initial theme, right? All right, so that'll end up being, so now at this point, I don't have an initial theme, so I need to go create an initial theme. So I'll go back up here to my theme folder, and I'll go to my UI. This is where stuff starts to get aggravating. All right, so now, oh, I do have a, oh, it defines it weird to me. I prefer it this way. The initial theme just reads better to me. These are equatable, so again, they give me the ability to say what the equality of a given thing is. I'm actually going to take this and put this at the top and let that be what it is. So now I have an initial theme. So if I come back, yeah, that's going to break. Yikes. EGATS, initial theme. There we go. All right, so the initial theme of the thing is going to be a theme. I'm going to go back to my test, and now I should be able to say, and this is where it's like, ooh, faux pas, right? You know better, Rodney. What I should have done is I should have run the test and watch it fail first. I learned something new about Dart this week and how these things work. Can I just... I want to edit this. Yep, edit. And okay, so it's Flutter tests, all tests in scope, and I explicitly want coverage. There we go. Okay, that's the bit that I needed. So I'm going to create a new runtime configuration for the tests. Flutter. No, not Gradle. Oh, I'm so good. I'm so good at this. I am so good at the clicking of the buttons. Flutter test, all tests, name all tests in directory. The directory will be /test, and then the arguments will be to get test coverage out. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to check for all tests in tests. I think it's 4 to get the runtime up. Running applications, that's not exactly what we want, the run configuration, so I think we just need to build it. So if I come back up here and I build, I should now see some tests here, if I did this right. I think I did. We'll find out in a minute, won't we? Oh, well then we'll just, oh, why is it, okay, it's broken, that's why. So let's edit this, in directory, Flutter tests, let's just call it tests. Error directory is not in a pub root. Oh, oh, that's why. Because I'm look. Jeez. I've got the wrong. Let's do. There we go. That's the problem. I'm legitimately looking at the entirely wrong folder. Now I should be able to run this. And if I click this and do that and run with coverage, I get coverage reported over here in my project window. Okay, we got a rogue test that we want to get rid of. We'll just get rid of that whole file. Yep, delete it. All right, so now we know that the initial state of the block is the initial theme. So when we just create a brand new block, the bits will be set up just like that. So what's next? So we got the initial theme. It's my test. So what's the next thing? So we're gonna want to check for probably do a group. We're gonna do another group tests, and we're gonna test. And we're gonna do a. This time we're gonna use what's called a block test, and we're gonna test the block. The block is gonna be the theme block and theme state. The description is going to say something along the lines of should emit light theme, because right now what we have is a light theme, so we're going to go with light theme. My other one is dark theme, so you're going to hear me go back and forth and waffling a lot. I'm going to return. I don't want to build the theme block. I want to return it the block that's already built. And then in here, this was okay. So this is where things get weird. I should probably go back and name this theme. Yeah, okay, I get that. Yep, all occurrences, theme block, because that's the global bit. This allows me to then return theme block, and now this block is a different block. The way I was dealing with this in my other one, I was calling this an act, which I actually like, but I don't know if everyone will like it. So here we are. I think this is where we would actually do a thing, right? So, but like we're not actually going to do anything. Oh, well, I guess. Yeah, okay. So if it's going to emit the light theme, that means that we would actually have to pump an event down our block. So let's go ahead and use the fat arrow, because I like the fat arrow. Oh, and we're only going to do but so much. We're going to do block add question mark. And we're going to call this a light theme event. All right, so now we have a light theme event that we don't have. So let's come, let's come in here. And we've got a sealed class. So this was weird. I learned that sealed doesn't mean in Dart what it means in C#. And I was very, very interested by that, because I come in here and what I can actually do, dun, dun, dun. Yeah, it's stable equatable, thank you. So what I can actually do is I can say final class light theme event and extend the theme event. So if I did this in C#, I'm getting an error here. What is this error? Oh, create one missing override. This actually just needs to be brought up here. Get rid of the to do. Format file. So in C#, this would throw a very explicit error, and it would tell me that you cannot inherit from a sealed class, because in C#, sealed means something completely different. So that threw me for an absolute loop this week. I was like, wait, how does this work? I don't even understand how this works. Oh, there is an unimplemented exception, and that's how you throw it. There we go. Okay, so I've got my light theme event. So if I go back, I've got a light theme, block test. Why are you complaining? Create block test. Did we not pull it? Did we not pull in block test? Yeah, we did. Pub get. I'm going to click the button again. Flutter outdated. Leak tracker, downloading packages. Doesn't give me any errors. It says it's got 12 packages. So block test should be there. So when I click on this, okay, so this is probably just telling me that I am smarter than a 5th grader. I'll just copy the block test import over here. and paste it, and now that goes away. Okay, so for whatever reason, my IntelliSense was not giving me the correct bits. I don't care about cancel. I don't care about that, and I would like you to ignore. Here we're gonna ignore. Clicking the button. PubSpec has been edited. Get dependencies. Now I still can't ignore. Okay, whatever. Clicking the buttons is not working for me. So in here, what I expect after I get the light theme event is to get the light theme. And that's in a different file. Did I not create a light theme? State. No, there's an initial theme, and now here's a light theme. There we go. So here we are. Everything's working great. We've got an event. We've got a light theme event. We've got the block. So now we're going to say, I'm going to explicitly not implement that handler. I'm going to create a new one, and I'm going to say, oh, do I have a test? Yeah, okay, so my test should fail. So I think I'm at the minimum point where I can run my test and watch it fail. Yeah, because there's nothing red in my Dart analyses. Add to active. Yep. All right, so everything's broken now. Didn't expect that to happen. Bad state. On theme event was called multiple times. There should only be a single handler per event type. Okay, I think I know what. Oh, I'm just smart. I didn't finish doing the thing, so. Don't ask again, because you're gonna get annoying. So okay, so my initial state test works again, and now this one is supposed to have gotten a light theme, but it actually got nothing, which means the block didn't actually do anything. So let's go in here and let's uncomment this, and let's call this our light theme event, right? And when the event happens, yep, we're cheating and going back over to our cheat sheet. We are going to do something. I think what this wants us, or what this gives us, if I go look at the, yeah, so it gives us an event handler and an event transformer. So we can emit something, which is some state. And what I think I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to eventually, what this thing is going to do is it's going to set some persisted state, and then it's going to emit new state. Yeah. So we're going to persist the state, the new theme. We're going to persist it to some concept, some construct, and then at a certain point, we are going to take that construct and what's the word I'm looking for? And persist it. After we persist it, we pull it back, and then we're going to tell the state machine, for lack of a better term, that we are in a new state. So that's what we're going to do every time that we get this event. Yeah, we're in this funky space where it doesn't realize that I've gotten all the dependencies. Okay, that's fine. So let me go back to my tests. And right now, all I need to do to get this to work, to light up my test, right? So we're going to do it test driven. We're going to light up my test, and I'm going to return a light theme. So now, if I run my test, I'm green. Oh, my test has no name. A test with no name. A test with no name. This should be light theme. And the test has a name. Oh, I see. The group has no name. The test has a description. Perfect. Okay. So that is what the light theme looks like so far. So far, so good. So we're going to come back over here to the... We're going to come back over here to the state, and we're going to talk about, or sorry, to the event handler, and we're going to talk about this persistence mechanism. So as I understand it, the prescription for these things is to pass something into the block and allow it to do the jazz. In the clean architecture world, I believe the way that things are done is through a concept called use cases. So what I am going to do is I'm going to follow my folder structure, and I've got a folder structure that I want to follow. So for the domain, even though I know this is not a domain concept, it's the domain of theming. So, okay, it's the theming domain for you stickler people out there. And then I think we're going to create a folder called use cases. So as I understand use cases today, use cases are very similar to a concept that I use from a pattern that I learned from Jimmy Bogart, which is the mediator pattern. And it's basically a single instance thing that does one responsibility and is testable and it does it well, which is very similar to the mediator. It does it differently, but this is basically a single instance handler for a individual use case. So we're not going to do and then. We're going to do thing and be done. So we are going to just set the current theme use case is going to be the thing. And we're going to do a class called set current theme. Wow, I love the fact that it knows that for you. Okay, so now we've got our use case that's going to do a thing. And this is where stuff is going to get fun. We are going to produce. Are we going to do that? Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to. Okay, so yeah, I guess we're going to have to build out all that stuff. So we're going to do it one piece at a time, though, I still think. So now what I want to do, I think, is my theme block needs to have a constructor where we have a theme block and we take in a required this dot set current theme. And I learned earlier this week that, oh wait, this is the constructor here. I am smart. I learned earlier this week that my concept of how C# language does private and public is really a detriment to me here. So I actually want to create a field, but I don't want it to be public. So this is where it gets weird. I actually want to, yeah, see, it doesn't give me the option yet. So, because I'm already in it. So I should be able to do inside my block, because I don't really want these things to be public themselves. I want to create a set current theme use case. Nope, it's not going to find it. So set current theme use case underscore set. And I want to set that. Oh wait, that's why I didn't do it, because it's still in the scope of the constructor. I tell you folks, I am good at this. Set current theme. So now that's gonna, because it has this. We don't want to use this. We want to do it that way. So now everything should work. Oh, because it doesn't have a type and it doesn't understand this type. I don't set current theme use case. Did I not do that correctly? Where did I not create it in the right place? Oh, I didn't create it in the right place. I really am good at this. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this whole folder and we're going to move it up to the theme. We're going to have to recreate it in a second. Yep, refactor. Yay, so now my actual use case is in an actual usable place. And when I do my theme block now, I should be able to easily import the package because I am good at the paying attention. This theme block non-nullable must be initialized field instance. It is initialized. Is this not the constructor? Question mark. Isn't used. We'll get there. We'll get to that point of using it. Oh, this is going to be a problem. I'm just going to go back to letting them be public, but I feel like they shouldn't have to be public, and I truly don't want them to be public. This doesn't look like where's my error then? Theme block. Okay, so let's go to the Dart analysis. This says Not nullable instance must be initialized. It's getting initialized right here. So what am I missing? This is the constructor, right? Like this is the constructor of the theme. Oh, haha. Okay, it's telling me that I need to late set current theme use case, set current theme use case, and I need to explicitly say set current theme use case and set it there. Brr. Late local variable is not defined. Okay, yep, we are cooking with the gasoline now. So we'll come here and we'll set this use case equal to set current theme. Nope, set current theme use case. And herein now lies the rub. This is a concretion, and I need an abstraction because I need to mock the behavior of this thing as a dependency. So there's a mocking library that I pulled in earlier called Mockito. I think that's how it's pronounced. And I am going to come in here and I'm going to create a folder called mocks. I'm going to create a file called generate. I am going to, in that file called generate, I am going to create a @generate mocks, and inside here I am going to drop in my set current theme use case. This needs a void main. Oh, create generate mocks. Nope, that's not what I want to do. I want to import Mockito annotations. All right, so now it's gonna add. Okay, so now it's figured out that I'm using Mockito. It's probably, hopefully, I'm gonna be able to do. All right, so now I have to run this command: dart run build runner build. Dart run build runner build. Yeah, and it's going to generate some mocks for me. So I find this a bit tedious, and if you make sure that you name things correctly the first time, because regenerating them can cause you a couple of minutes of aggravation. Being new to it all, it took me a minute to realize what I had broken and how to fix it. But now you'll see I come over here and I've got a generated mock for my thing. So if I come back to my block test, this is set current theme, but now I should be able to call this a mock set current theme and import the bits. I think I want to do it this way because that seems more like correct. Technically, it should resolve to this, but it just seems kind of weird. And now I'm able to pass in a mock, so I can say something along the lines of, I go back to my block test. I'm going to do this because I'm going to, in my use case now, I'm going to do, or I'm sorry, in my block theme, I'm going to do underscore set dot, let's call set theme, and we're going to set the current state, I think. I don't think that our library is going to like this concept. The use case syntax is to use an execute method, which is where it's similar to handlers. So I'm going to create an execute method in here, and my execute method is going to have it's going to have a future. I'm going to return a future of either, this is where I was talking about the language extensions, right? So this is giving me functional programming style language extensions. I'm either going to have a failure, which we might not have defined, or a theme state that returns from this use case. So let's import what we think we have. We don't have a failure, so I'm going to go grab the failure from out of here. It is in my error folder, which is why I don't have it, because I haven't done any of that work yet. So we're going to create a error folder briefly, and we're going to add a Uh, call it failure, and we're going to dump our abstract class failure in here. We're going to bring in equatable, and this is where equatable starts to shine. Like I can show you here, it's going to look at this set of properties, and it's going to say based upon these properties, I believe I believe it does like a hash underneath it, and it verifies that these things are what they are. So now I have a abstract extension point for failure. So this code should pass. Yep, I'm going to import that failure. And all of my different types of failures are going to come from what? Why is it not taking my either? Why does it not like my either? I'm not liking the fact that it's either my IDE or the fact that I'm streaming or something, that it's not pulling in, it's not lighting up the stuff the way I expect it to. The execute, yeah, because I don't have anything. Okay, so I should be able to do a fold. Oh, I gotta do a fat arrow and a fold. Ugh, I'm not going through all that just yet. Okay, so this won't compile just yet. We will throw a unimplemented error later. Is that the? Oh, I need to. So this is where message. Do I not understand how this works? This message, unimplemented error. Oh, I need to throw it. I can't return it, I have to throw. There we go. Because it's an exception, not an error, even though it has error in the theme block. You're still yelling at me and telling me that this thing must be initialized. I thought we figured that out. I guess we didn't. So maybe this needs to happen before this. Okay, so how about this? I'll take this line completely out, and now you're gonna be a peach and give me. Now you're not gonna give me out the ability to fix the error. What? Okay, so let me go look at my other code because I've got. Yeah, I don't do any of that. I don't do any of that because I just let it be public, but I don't want it to be public. I like my privacy. I like my encapsulation. But for the sake of time and just not caring, I'll come back and figure that out later. I don't actually need to define this anymore. Set. Was that the problem the whole time? Am I really just not paying attention? That's a... No. Set use case. I don't think it matters. Is it like a convention-based thing that I'm unaware of? It probably is. I don't understand what's going on here, so I'm just like I feel like this is where it's like when you're programming and you don't know what you're doing, you're like, I feel like I need an adult. Yeah, I feel like I need an adult. So let's do that, and let's just change to field instead of var. Let's do this. Let's get rid of that. Why are you still giving me problems? Because you're so much smarter than I. Okay, fine. We'll do it that way, and I'll just be mad about it and figure that out later this week. When there's... Oh, wait. Am I really just that slow? Okay, we're gonna copy this because now I gotta know, right? Like, am I just... Nope. I had it in the right place. I'm not tripping. Okay, whatever. This works. This makes the world happy. So now I should be able to... So now, okay. So now I am persisting my bits out through some use case. I'm executing the use case. The use case returns a future of either failure or, so now I can change the way my method is set up, and I can create a final result from the use case result. Yeah, I spelled that right. And then I can do a result dot fold. Did that not work? Okay. The result from the use case. Oh. SMRT. Helps if you await the thing, right? Okay, so now in the failure case, I will represent it with some failed state, right? I'm gonna notify the user somehow that we got an exception, trying to persist your theme, your SOL, right? And then in the fact that it actually works, I'm going to have a theme that I can then pass and emit as the theme. So the only problem here right now is that I have this theme failed. I think I need to go to my states and create a theme theme failed. Yeah, okay, that's fine. All right, so now I am setting the persisted state. Got that figured out, and I am emitting new state. So now we've got two things to test for our jazz, right? So let's go write some tests around this, because I think our current tests will likely now fail because we haven't given the mock any behavior. Perfect. So this now, our test that was working now fails. So this should emit the light theme, but we should also emit a failed theme when everything breaks. That's the block test. So we'll create a new block test, and we will tell it that it should emit theme failed when setting state fails. Yeah, that seems good. All right, so then I'm actually just going to copy and paste these bits here, because I actually like it. It gives you by default just the build method, and I actually prefer all three methods right there. All right, so this go around, we're going to tell the block that it should actually have a theme failed in the state, right? Just like our bits up here. So the block is going to happen. We're going to do add, but we need to explicitly change how things work this time. So we can't, that C# nicety, I'm telling you. Not having my C# nice stuff is going to cause me some crazy moments here shortly. Because like the code generator, or the IDE will kind of clean some of that stuff up for you through Roslyn, which is or ReSharper, which is fantastic. So yeah, so we're gonna tell it when. So this is the way the tests are done in this. I'm learning. Set current theme use case, execute. Let's call it light theme. So when we explicitly try and pump a light theme in and set the light theme, right? Then no, I don't just want then. I want then answer. How do I get to that? Oh, I need to go to the end of the when. Then the answer is going to be async left. And if you're not familiar with this style of programming, like I can explain this whole style of FP programming like at a later point in time, but I kind of want to get through testing the block today to make sure that we get as much done as possible. And it's easier to have a conversation when someone asks you questions, so it's kind of hard for me to just sit here and explain it without understanding who understands what context. So, and I think I'm going to call this a data access failure, right? Because we failed to access some data, and it's going to have a message of failed to update theme, right? That seems reasonable. Jazz, this seems like I don't need this fat arrow and I need that fat arrow. Now it tells me that I don't have a data access failure, so I'll go back to failures, and I will create a new file for this, and I will call it, see, this is where it's like, oh, okay, data underscore access underscore failure, and then I'll do a class which extends from failure, and create const calling super constructor. That seems fair. And we can add the const modifier. So there we go. So now we have a data access failure. So we should be able to bring in the data access failure. Okay. So now what we expect won't be, yeah, it'll be the theme failed. And I think what we expect is to pass the message of why the theme failed back up the pipeline. So I would expect this same message to exist. All right, but theme failed doesn't have a constructor parameter. There's supposed to be an IntelliSense thing that lets me create one there, but that's fine. We'll just go do it the old-fashioned way. Theme failed. Required this dot message, and then we will add a field. We'll bring that down a notch. We will call this string message. Perfect. All right, so now we've got a message, and our message should be what it is. So we'll run our test, knowing that it's gonna fail. We expect it to fail because failing is part of development. Oh, look at that. Now we failed because the thing couldn't even compile, which I love, for the record. I love that it literally, like, if it can't compile it, it just says, yeah, I can't compile it, so I didn't run any of your tests. But it runs all the rest of the tests. So unlike C#, where if you can't compile, you can't run any tests, this one says, I'm only going to fail to run the tests that I cannot compile for. So it's, in my opinion, a little better. We're going to, did we already? Yep, we did. We already copied it to the clipboard. So failed to update theme. Okay, so now we should run it again. Everything should load. Do we still have? Okay, yep, here we go. So, oh, yep, see, we still can't even compile the tests. We are so good at this. Yeah, I don't like the way that formats that, but that's a tomorrow problem. I should put a thing there and a thing there, and it'll format it a little bit better. Okay, that's the standard Dart formatting, so we'll just go with that for now. Theme state, current theme. So now we should be all, I don't see anything here failing. So now our theme fails because of reasons, because now we have to give it a stub for the Mockito, and this, it's null, which is not a subtype of how do we get a null return? Question mark. The use case, we folded failure to the theme message. Where is it? Oh, is this the generated? No, the mock shouldn't matter. The mock should be working just fine. We set the thing. We emit. All this code looks kind of like right. This works on my machine. I don't understand what's working on what's not working on yours. We try to add light theme. We get a data access failure. When we try and execute on that, so block.add. So when I try to add the light theme, that should blow up. So let's go look at our block method, and let's go debug explicitly this test. Are you just not going to give me... Okay, so let's go and rebuild this module. Now I learned that I do a lot of rebuilding. Oh, it doesn't pick up the block tests in the same way. Is that what's been going on the whole time and I'm just not realizing it? Yeah, that's probably exactly what it is. Yeah, because it sees those as tests. It doesn't see the block tests as tests like these. Ugh. Okay. But I should be able to just debug the test, right? I should be able to right click, debug test. Here we go. No stub was found, which matches the argument of call method initial theme. Do I have to define the initial? That seems weird. I set up my mock correctly. Okay. Let me go back to my block and make sure that I'm not like doing something smart. Super initial. Maybe that doesn't matter. Oh, maybe it does. Why is it telling me that? Why is it telling me that it can't be a constant? It should be able to be a constant. Something weird's going on in the sauce, methinks. No stub was found, which matches the argument. Oh, okay. This might be my mock was not set correct. This is why I said like it's weird. You'll generate the mock and then things will not work correctly because you didn't rerun this command, and I've run into this a couple times this week. All right. Hopefully that means that my mock has been regenerated. And if I run the thing, do I get a different answer? Yes, I get a different answer. Perfect. Okay. So yeah, it was just my mock was out of whack. Okay, so it expected light theme and got nothing. But that's just on the... Oh, that's if... Okay. Yeah, that's if we're actually adding the theme. So we need to now give it the other case. So this is the left and this is the win. So we need to give this thing a win when we build it. So let me grab this whole build method and replace all that. Okay. And now instead of it, it's going to be right. And the right is going to be light theme. I think. What is it? This is either theme state. Light theme is valid for the right. Oh, it's probably yelling about that. Yep, there we go. Because it's not a const. Okay, so now if I run this, that test should now pass. No, it still doesn't pass. What's your complaint now? Light theme, which blah, blah, blah. So if we go to the block, if this was execute state is returning either a failure or the themes. Oh, it's throwing an unimplemented exception. Oh no, because it should be a mock. It shouldn't matter. This should be mocked out, so it shouldn't matter what the implementation is. Right? It should be that the mock knows how to do what I tell it to do. So if it's expecting a light theme, in this case, the fold... Do I have to... No. Oh. I think I have to emit this state. Yeah, I have to emit this state. Emit that state. But now I want to emit the theme, and the theme should be whatever I sent in as the use case. So we are awaiting it, and then we're doing a fold, and then we're sending a failure. no. We don't want to explicitly do it that way. What we want to do is failure dot message. There we go. So that way we're not keeping. All right, so all of this should just work. So why are we not doing the thing? Still learning how to read some of this stuff. So it expected a light theme and it actually got nothing. So here we go. Let's go back to the light theme. Let's right click and let's debug this test. Stop and rerun. Yep. Rethrow. No stub was found which matches the arguments of the called method execute initial theme. I'm not sending in an initial theme. What am I missing? Okay, so clearly I'm missing something at this point. Theme state, that's my use case, right? My mock is sending in a light theme, not an initial state. No stub was found which matches the arguments of this method. Execute initial. I'm not emitting initial anywhere. I'm sending in light theme. Okay, so let's do this. Let's take our entire generated mock. So let's delete it. Yep. Delete anyway. And we'll rebuild it all. See what we get. Yeah, we're getting close to time. I may just run over to keep playing with this. Because this is, like, I'm actually getting a different experience than I got earlier in the week. So, like, now I'm questioning, what's going on? What am I doing wrong? Do I really understand what I think that I'm doing, right? Still no. Okay, let me, when I execute light theme, I get back the right, which is the light theme. So let me go back. That's the same way that I have it written here. Same exact way. Okay, I actually like, oh, perfect. That's way better. Right, so I've done things, but I actually don't have anything that is explicitly calling the theme or doing any type of. I'm not. There's no initial event. What am I missing? Super initial. Set current theme. Okay, I've done my fold. I've done my emit. I've done all the things. It's on async. I don't need it, but I don't have. I don't have it on this one. Maybe that's the difference. Okay, let's try that. I only have the states and emissions that I need. Still nothing. Okay, still doesn't fix it, which is fine. No stub was found which matches the argument of method called execute initial. Add a stub for this method using Mockito's when API or generate the mock with the mock at generate nice mocks. What are nice mocks? What is a nice mock versus a not so nice mock? I just want to generate a regular mock. I don't understand. Why do I need a nice one? What's so nice about the nice mocks, huh? Yeah, I'm seriously questioning what am I doing here. It's legitimately telling me that I don't have it. I don't have that set up. So this is basically like a strict mock, okay? So the mock is telling me that you haven't. Give me a second. Is my brain on? Yeah, I don't need to do anything special there. Yeah, when that happens, the async answer. Yeah, this is exactly how I have it set up in my other project. The difference is the use case So I got rid of it. I deleted the file and I regenerated all the mocks. So I am somehow sending it. Okay, let me do this. Find initial theme. Super of initial, right? So I do the same thing in this one. Yeah, I do the exact same thing. What am I missing? What am I missing? I'm missing something important. What is the important thing that I'm missing? Well, the important thing that I'm missing is I'm going to end up calling it a day here soon. And we're not going to get to where I want to be. This clearly doesn't make any sense. Okay, let's go look at our generation. We are generating mocks. We have a void main. All that is jazz, right? We don't need anything else right now because we haven't even gotten into how we're going to store the information. We've just set up the use case. Missing stub. But I'm not explicitly sending that theme down unless it's doing that under the hood on the block when it does the super implementation. And I'm just not paying attention to it. Question mark. Okay, I think this is probably gonna be where I call it a stream, because if I can't get past the generation of the mock, we are gonna be up, because I don't think it's the generated mock itself. I think it's literally how it's being used, but I'm not sending in any. It has to be the light theme event in order for this to happen. Oh, I know what's going on. I'm smarter than a fifth grader. Here we go. It's okay. I see what's happening. I'm smart. The set current theme use case dot execute. The execution method. Let me pull this up so you guys might be able to hear me a little better. The execution method is the state in this execution method is getting the initial theme, which is the state, the current state. I want to be able to pass in a state. So here, the light theme event should actually be passing in light theme. That should be the change that fixes my problem. Because that makes sense now that I'm thinking about it. Right, I need to explicitly send in the theme that I want it to be and not rely on the current state. Okay, so now that it knows how to get past that, we should get a different test result. Green lights. Yes. All right, cool. So that means that we have officially mocked out the thing. We've done some jazz. We know how to do some ethers and some ors. And we can verify the failure to a theme, and we can verify that a theme has been set. So we're now going to copy this entire group because I don't want to have to recode all this, and we're going to create it, and we're going to take this set, and we're going to call this dark theme. Dark theme. Dark theme. Let's just copy the whole bit. Copy the pasta. Copy the pasta all over the place. We're just going to call that dark theme event. Dark theme. And we'll call that dark theme event. So we've now changed all the things around so that we can set a dark theme that doesn't exist yet. So we'll come back over here to state. We'll duplicate that and we'll call that dark theme. We'll come over here to the event. We will duplicate that and we will call it a dark theme event. These now need to be different because alphabetized things matter, kind of, sort of, but not really. What is this yellow for? Why is this? There we go. It's telling me that I have things that can be set when they shouldn't be settable. Mutability is a very big thing in my world. All right, so now what we're saying is we should be able to run this exact same test. We're going to cover everything. So we've got a theme. These fail, which we expect them to fail. It was called without a registered event handler. Perfect. So we have a registered event handler. So now we're going to get into the truth of the matter. I'm about to copy and paste this chunk of code, and that's going to feel really, really ugly, right? Because like now I'm just going to copy and paste the handler, and now I've got a do not repeating myself violation. So what should I do? I should take this and create a... Nope, doesn't give me the ability to do that. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to copy it. Or I'm actually going to take the whole... Can I take the whole async? I can't. I have to take just this. And I'm going to create a... I believe this is going to return a future... and I was trying to do some research earlier this week to determine if future void is bad, because in C#, async void is bad. So I was trying to figure out if it's the same thing. Nobody really had a good answer for me on that, or maybe my Google Foo just wasn't picking up the right jazz. So I'm still trying to figure that one out. But long and short, for the moment, it'll suffice. Emit. So now we have our on change. Our on change will do this. We have the emitter. We have the event. We have this. This needs an async, so it can be happy. Everybody's happy with that. Now that everybody is happy with that, okay, so now my fold is fine. So now those two things are on separate fields. So now I can take this on change, and I can basically, at this point, I believe I can just do this. Yes. Oh, amazing. So now, instead of copying and pasting that and putting all that dark theme bit in there, now all I got to do is do this. But I still have a problem, as we see, right? I need to be able to pass in the actual state that I want it to go to. So that means that this needs to become a method parameter. So that means that I need to now do theme state and pass in some theme so that I can do this. This should provide problems now, but it's not. So okay, that's cool. Emit, and let's do light theme, and then let's copy the pasta and change that to a dark theme. Dark theme. Okay, so now we've got stuff with things that should do exactly what we want. Green lights on all the tests. Beautiful. Okay, so now we've at least tested the use case itself. I think we're gonna try to go a little bit further on the use case. I think we're gonna break after that. I did start a little bit late, but I don't want to go too late either, because I got other stuff I want to play with and try and figure out today. So let's go look at. Okay. So in our block, we have now tested 88% of the lines in our block, which is good. All right, okay. So now we can do a final, we can set the use case, we can emit, we're doing that. All that is good. We've got our on change, so it happens the same way every time. And we don't have to copy that code. So we've got a method there. All that's good. So let's go implement our use case, because right now it's an unimplemented exception. And we're going to go down the same road we went down. So we're going to put this in, I believe, a domain. And then in a use case, and we're going to call this Flutter test. We're going to call this set underscore current theme test. Okay. So now we've got a test setup where we are going to want to have some, oh no, sorry, we want to have the use case is going to equal, oh, is it use case? This is where it gets weird. I don't know if it's like use case or use case because I'm not familiar enough with the pattern. But okay, we're gonna create a actual set current theme use case. And we're gonna set that. Create local. Nope, we don't want to create local. We want to create a field. So we'll do this thing, and we'll do this thing, and we'll call it use case. Yeah, see, it wants to do it like that. I think that's right. I think that's right. So we're gonna go with that. And then we're gonna come over here. We're gonna look at our, and we're gonna group it together. So we're gonna have light theme is our main theme. Tests should set dark theme. Should set light theme. Light theme. All right. So the question becomes, how are we going to get stuff to and from our use case? There's a lot of different ways that I can do this. Like, I want to save this in some shared preferences. Currently, in the future, I might want to save it somewhere else. So this is where we get into the debate of, hey, Rodney, you can just put I can do my shared preferences, and I can do shared preferences like there's a shared. I don't know where it is, but I can do my shared preferences right in here and just do the jazz, but I don't actually want to do it that way because I actually may end up wanting to store this somewhere else at a later point in time. Don't know, but I might. So I'm going to continue to go down the road of trying to make this as testable and abstract as possible. I know that the general way to do things like this is like with a repository pattern. When I do mediator style things, I can sometimes avoid the repository pattern and just go directly against the data store. I'm not going to do that here. I'm going to try and follow the principles and patterns of the language until I find a reason good enough to deviate from them. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back to and put my throat on and I'm going to create a constructor for this that has a required parameter of this repository. Repository. There we go. And that repository is going to be of type, you probably guessed, theme repository. We're going to create now in the domain a repositories, and we're going to create a theme repository. All right, so we're gonna have an abstract class of theme repository, and the way this is going to work, the way this is going to work under the hood, is this is going to call the implementation of this. The data source is going to be the preferences, so I will ultimately get to the preferences. But the reason why I want to put this layer of abstraction on here is, again, just like we saw in the block, where I am emitting a either concept, I'm gonna do the same thing in my in my use case. I have this concept of an either future convert to block body. Yeah, no, okay, we're not gonna do that. Oh, yeah, there we go. Semicolons matter. Just like I have this future either theme state, I'm gonna do something similar when I construct the bits from my repository. So from my repository, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a just copy this jazz. Oop, nope, I'm gonna do a future of either a failure. Ooh, is it? No, yeah, failure or a theme state. And I'm going to call this update. So I'm actually going to use just regular CRUD semantics talking. And we're going to set that as the abstract. It doesn't need an implementation. It needs the darts for the either. And that's what we're going to use for the repository. So now I need to come back to my mocks that I generated, and I need to add my repository to my mocks. And then I'm going to have to run my method again. Oh, this water's so good. Error. Classes, arguments missing, include unknown types. Vert. Oh, yeah, because I didn't import the flipping package. So smart. All right, so I'm going to do the set current theme use cases, add required repository. Repository is null. Now I'm going to set a mock theme repository, and this is going to be set here where repository is equal to mock theme repository, and we will let this be the repository. Okay, so now our set current theme use case has a repository. This repository, oof. I want to go to the. This repository is going to return a future of either a failure or an updated theme state. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave it this way. I know that this is probably not normal CRUD semantics where you send back the thing, but I'm going to leave it this way for now, just for my own, for my own self, because otherwise my brain is going to start hurting here pretty soon. So, I broke stuff over here. So now that I've got this use case, and it should be given, so light theme should set light theme. So let's do this when the repository update on light theme. Why can't I use it? Why is it red? We'll worry about that in a second. Oh no. Yeah, hold up. Dot. Then answer. Right. Light theme. Right? Oh, I need to do async jazz. I need to put a async. There we go. Why are you still okay, I need to do a late and a late here just for crits and giggles. All right, so now use case isn't used. Okay, yeah, it was gonna get used right here. So when final result equals use case dot execute on light theme, I expect that my result should match right light theme. There we go. So that's my expectation, and I think it's going to work. Push the button. Okay, maybe it doesn't work. Good, it doesn't work. Ah, it's set current theme use case Dart. Oh, yay! We left ourselves an Easter egg. I love it. Repository dot update theme state. So now, if I rerun, I get a write dynamic actuals instance of future because we were not good enough to understand that we must await the asynchronous things. So now that we await the asynchronous things, we should get green lights. Okay, so now when I set the theme, everything's good to go. Is there a failure case? I don't think I code for a failure case on the repository because I don't actually expect it to fail, but let's do it anyway. Should return. So it's not really going to be a data access failure. So let's go look at our failures real quick because we have a data access failure. Well, it could still be a data access failure that I return up. But I honestly don't know like what type of error that should be. So for or failure, I guess is what I'm calling them. Data access failure. Something went wrong failure. I'm not going to harp on that for too long. I'm just going to go ahead and use the data access failure for the moment. And I'm going to say that should return failure. So this should actually now be left, and left should return a data access failure with a message of that. Need to import my data access, my message. I don't want to add that const. I don't know how that's going to work. So failed to update the theme. All right, so it doesn't matter. So const. When I try and do use case.execute, I expect this. This is now my expected result. Yep. Okay then. That looks a little weird. There we go. Still learning how to. Won't do the way I want it to, but that's fine. Okay. This is sufficient. So this is what I want it to look like. So we expect. So if we run these tests, and we try and set the light theme, it should return a failure. That data access failure is going to be whatever the message is. Did we actually set that up, or is that just something we got for free? Now I'm questioning whether or not this should actually have passed. Oh, yeah, because we told... Okay, yeah, because we mocked it and we told it to return this data access failure. The implementation doesn't actually do it, but it will because it's just going to be a pass-through. The use case currently, I think, is just a pass-through for the repository. Yeah, we're just returning the update from the repository. So it will return the data access failure up. So I think this is fine. This works in my mind. So we're going to, I guess, call it here for this week. We got a chance to do some unit testing. We're going to do git. So we are kind of close to handling the state management of our theme, i.e. We are using block to, sorry, where are we? Yeah, here we go. We are using a block to do the actual state management. And then we're using the clean architecture pattern around use cases and repositories to stash that information out to some persistent storage so that when the app loads up, Because what we didn't get to today is when the app loads up, the app is going to look and say, hey, what was the last theme that was provided? And it's going to spin that jazz and do all the fun stuff. But we're going to leave that for another time. It has been fun, and I will see you good folks the next time you decide to come join.